Right, well, we're nearly there. This year's TF Gear DVD shoot. A lot closer to home for me this year. We're at Kingfisher Lake in the Thetford Forest. Only about 15 miles from where I live. I've actually fished here a couple of times before, which might be a bonus. Weather forecast is horrendous, absolutely horrendous for this week, with big winds and a lot of rain coming, which isn't ideal, but hopefully we'll get a few fish. Here we are. It's just sort of last week of March, and a lot of the lakes haven't really come alive yet. Hoping for a little bit better weather and better catch reports, but there's been a couple out over the last few days, 3 or 4, so bumpy old lane. Hopefully I'll be able to find them a couple of nights ahead, so here we are. Stand here and have a little look and see what's going on. Here we are. The wind's not, I don't know, it's picking up. Like I say, it is forecast to be absolutely horrendous. So we'll see how it pans out. Nice little lake, goes up, there's this bay at the end. That's an island out there to the left, and then there's another section at the top end. I don't know exactly how big it is, it's about 8 or 9 acres, something like that. Goes down to about 13, 14 foot in places. Yeah, it's a nice little lake. Like I say, unfortunately you've got the road on this side, you see we didn't come far off the road, so you've got a bit of road noise, and you might have heard that. There's an army base over the back there. They have shooting practice over there quite regular, but in that direction there's about 25 miles of Thetford Forest. But yeah, have a little walk round and see what we can find. Right, with more and more places nowadays insisting that you have a carp cradle rather than just a flat mat, I've put a bit of thought into it and come up with a slightly different design. It's called the barrow mat because it's a barrow base to start with, and it's got a few other little features that come into play, which hopefully I'll show you a bit later when I catch a fish. But the beauty of it is you can get perfectly square, quite rigid, and you can organise everything in there. And on all my sessions, especially short ones, I like to know where everything is. Everything goes in the same spot every single time, so it's all to hand. It's large enough to take all your kit, all my kit anyway. And the lid's totally detachable, which means you can Velcro it on at any different height. So even if you've got taller bags that stick out the top of the mat, you can still cover that up, and that will keep the worst of the rain off of it. There's actually a little liner within the mat, but I'll show you that in more detail when I unload. So there we go, packed up ready. Just need the bed on top of that. We're ready to go. Okay, so once you get in your swim and unload your barrow, normally I'd put this straight into the bivy, but just to show you what's what. off with the lid. Obviously you can put this back on if you get a fish and you need to walk away for a second to get your camera or whatever. I'll take that off for now. Unload all my clob up. The nice thing about this as a base as well is any last minute bits and pieces you want to chuck in there, bits of food and drink and what have you, maybe the odd can of beer. You've got plenty of room and nothing's falling out because it's all solid. So then you get to the next stage, you've got a waterproof liner, and what this does, comes out totally, folds away for next to nothing, pop that in your bivvy, and then when you use the mat for fishing, doesn't matter how wet it gets, how slimy or stinky it gets, when you want to put your gear back in it to go home or to move, you just velcro the liner back in and you've got a nice dry base for all your tackle. Multi-purpose, everything should do more than one job. Perfect. Put that up there, ready for the first carp. Well, first bite of the session. Not long moved in here. Just thought with the sun coming out a little bit, they might be in those island margins, and they were. He's gone right round under these trees, unfortunately. He's only just down there, but I think he's made that snag branch. Here he comes. That's better. Now we got him. There is a common or a fully scaled, I think. We got him. Off the mark. Perfect. Oh, nice little fully scaled. Beautiful. Right, let's get the mat. Right, here we go. First fish of the trip. Beautiful little fully scaled. I've had bigger, but I've not had many prettier. That's for sure. Look at him. Yeah. He's a lovely little fella. Imagine him when he's about 35 pounds. Lovely. First of many, I hope. I had to move down this end of the lake to get a bite, but I did sort of think they might be hiding under that island a little bit. The sun on it, out the wind. Perfect. Right, let's slide him back. Thank you for coming. Right, this is where this mat really comes into its own. When you got that big drop, you don't want to just well, you don't want to carry a fish across ground anyway, but you don't want to be lifting him up here out of a mat and risk him leaping out your hands or hitting any of this. And with the ski slope at the front, just flood the mat, push that down, slide him forwards, and he's away. Nice and safe, and still got all his scales. Clip that back up. That'll drain out nice and quickly because you've got that mesh at the bottom.
Hi, I'm Marc Coulson, editor of Total Carp, and I'm here just to briefly run you through the hinged stiff rig. Basically, the rig first came to prominence in Terry Hearn's first book, In Pursuit of the Largest. It was a bit of a revelation at the time, and I think since then and still today, any big fish angler that's worth his salt has used or continues to use this rig. Not saying that I'm a big fish angler, but it's still a rig that works. If you imagine a chod rig, and we've all seen those, you can find out how to tie one of those any one of a million places. Just a short hook length, slightly curved, tied D-rig style with a swivel at the bottom. What makes the stiff hinge rig different is, or the hinge stiff rig, whichever way you want to say it, is that chod rig is actually tied to a boom. Now originally this was a stiff boom, specifically for fishing on firm bottoms where you're going to get a good presentation. But more recently, a lot of anglers have actually switched, or they combine and use a coated braid. Now this isn't an over stiff coated braid, it's just enough to keep that hook link away from the lead core when it lands, but it still gives that freedom of movement for the rig itself. If there's a criticism of this chod rig, is that it only moves very slightly. There's very little up and down movement unless you've got it in the leader, whereas with the stiff hinge, and you could actually tie this really short if you wanted to, there's no reason why not. I think most people settle on this kind of length. The rig basically will sit like so, just as a chod rig does, but then if it's approached from any side, that curve makes it flip round, but also there's all of that freedom of movement. Specifically, this is known as a big fish rig. It's not as effective for small fish, although it will still work, but it is super effective for bigger carp, bigger males like to take that bait in. I tend to fish it with a single hook bait over a slightly sort of choddy bottom, if you like, or not necessarily something hard like this, because I wouldn't want a bait suspended that far off the bottom if it was this firm. But certainly on a silty lake bed or a little bit of chod, not too much, it works brilliantly. And again, that coated braid is just supple enough to set on some contours. If that was extra stiff, that material, and there was a little obstruction there, that rig could easily sit up like so. Okay, you might still get a bite, nothing to say you won't, but it's not doing what it's intended to do. The other great use of this, of course, is for fishing over boilies. Imagine a spread of boilies, carp moving from one to the next. As soon as they pick up this, go to move away, they're going to impact that leader and the lead. Job done, it's all over. Right then, Dave, I see you got some new alarms there. Not seen those before. Talk me through them.
They're soundwave alarms, come in a set of 3 with sound box. They're fully adjustable, tone, volume. You've even got a mute on the volume. I've turned this one down, so that's quite handy if you don't want people to know you're catching fish, or if you just when you're setting up, when you're doing your bobbins.
Yeah,
and
if
that.
you don't want to annoy everybody else on the lake as well. Yeah,
but you don't want to turn them off. And with the mute on, it still works on the sounder box.
Oh, okay.
So if there is a situation where you didn't want your alarms, to make a noise, but you wanted to know yourself, obviously, you can set it up like that. There's 4 button controls on there, and they're easy to scroll through. You just go through different levels of volume, and then if you go down one, you've got your tone, and at the bottom there, you can adjust your LEDs through 7 different colours.
Oh, okay.
So you can set them up all different, have them all matching, all blue, all purple and green, or all different.
So does the colour on the head there
will correspond to that?
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So if you've got your rods fished
if you've got them on separate sticks,
you know exactly which one's gone.
You know which way to run.
So it's really windy today, Dave, and I noticed you're not getting loads of wind bleeps.
Yeah, no, it drives me mad, bleeping alarms. If it beeps, I want it to be a fish, and, and that's it, especially if you're asleep. You don't want to be leaping up from beeping. So there's a sensitivity control on here, and at the moment I've got them set down, so that I've got probably 3/4 of an inch of movement before I've got a beep, but you can turn them right up You know,
Right.
if you were fishing in a situation, nice calm day, you wanted to know everything that was going on. Every time a fish came through your swim,
Yeah,
you know,
Brilliant.
you can get them right up on the sensitivity as
And
well.
on the remote then, what's the kind of signal like on that?
It's very strong. It works over a much larger distance than you're ever going to need.
100 metres or something,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's
I think
200
it's a-
metres.
Right.
But the beauty of that is if you've got a signal that's capable of that, then when you've got like trees, you know, if you're
Yeah.
only 15 metres
Yeah.
away and you're going through trees, which obviously knocks your signal down, you've got that strength, so you're
Yeah.
you're guaranteed to get it at a shorter range.
So no one's suggesting you ever be 200 metres
no,
away.
no,
it's
not
the
at all.
strength
No,
of the
yeah,
signal.
if you had
really,
a
isn't it?
signal that only worked 10 yards, which
Yeah.
is sensible to be
Yeah, of
away,
course.
once you get an obstacle in the way, then
Yeah.
you're not going to get that signal. And inside the top of the alarm, let's take that off there, it's got this soft touch rubber grips.
Right.
So if you're not using snag ears, like I'm not at the moment, it's if I lift that off the back there, it's very solid. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
it
not
actually
going
grips
anywhere, is
onto
it?
your blank and it protects your blank as well.
Nice. The ears are quite high on those anyway, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they
Don't
are.
necessarily
You sort
need
of settle
snag
down
ears
in
on
there,
those.
and it is very soft, that bit there, so it does sort of
Nice.
catch against the blank and hold the blank in position.
Well, it's quite a modern looking design.
Yeah,
on it as well, isn't it?
I like them. Yeah, they're nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great. So that's the Soundwave.
That's soundwave set. Yeah.
Cool.
Right, I had a chuck about with a lead, and I found a little spot out there I fancy putting a little bit of bait on. So just set up a couple of sticks, exactly one rod length apart. If you always do them exactly the same distance, one rod length, you know where you are next time. I got a lap on my phone, like a little notepad, and some of my better spots in my favourite swims, I just mark them down against what's in the background. Like second tallest fur, 8 wraps or 8.5 wraps. And then, should you go back in there at a later date, you know exactly where you are. It's handy as well if you're moving on top of fish, especially in a weedy swim, and you know exactly where the clear spots are. Where I am here, hold on there, is not as crucial because I'm fishing out in open water, but I want to be quite accurate with the baiting because it's very silty and a lot of it's going to sink into the silt. So what I want to do is get quite a pile of bait in a very, very small area, but I also obviously want to get my hook bait bang smack on top of it. You've got to take off a little bit for the spom compared to your hook bait, because obviously your hook bait's going to come back towards you like that and the spod's going to land straight on top. So this is about 12 foot out there, which is about half a rod length difference. Let's put a bit of bait out.
Right, Laney. Spodding and markering, it's an everyday part of modern carp fishing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, the gear that is needed is quite specialist, isn't it?
It is, and not always used, really, the right gear. This is a power spod reel designed for spodding.
Yeah.
You know, it's got strong gears, fast retrieve, sensible, grippy handle. You know, that's what you need.
Built to last.
It is, yeah. Just what you need, something powerful, something that will put it out there a long distance and get it back quickly.
Yeah, I mean, continuous spodding and retrieving, it's going to wear
You'll use
isn't
a
it?
spod and a marker reel 100 times more than you'll ever use a fishing reel.
So you need something that's up for the job.
Absolutely.
What about the line on there? I noticed you've got braid on it.
Yeah, that's it's actually a spodding braid, and we do it as part of a combo with the reel.
All right, okay.
You know, so
you get the line with the reel
you
itself.
like a bundle, you get the two together. Yeah, not loaded. You have to load it yourself. You don't get everything.
You're not getting Dave Lane to do that for you?
No, unfortunately not. No. Floating braid.
Yeah.
You know, it's very important.
That's important, isn't it?
With spodding, you want to keep it up there on the surface so you've not got more resistance and away from the other lines and what have you. Thin diameter, so it casts well, but strong.
Right.
You know, because it does.
So again, it's up to the task as the reel is.
Put through a lot of grief. So yeah, thin, strong, floating.
And yellow.
And yellow. So you can see where it is. Don't get it tangled up with the other lines.
I tell you what, as well. Joking aside, that can often keep birds away from you a little bit as well, can't it? They'll float in.
People say that, yeah. I find it's handy that you can see where it is. I mean, especially if you're putting a spom out and then casting a rig in next to it.
Yeah,
you've got two
course.
lines on the go. If you can't see either of them, it can end in tears.
Great stuff.
You know, but you can see where it is to avoid it. So yeah.
The voice of experience.
Well,
nice
you know.
one, mate.
Right, I'm going to put a bit of bait out. What I've got some mainline response pellets, and I've mixed those with some hold and chop boilies and a little bit, just a tiny bit of moisture in there, not really getting them soaking, but if you put them out dry they tend to float on the surface, and just that little bit of moisture helps them break through the surface layer. Lovely. I'm not going to put a lot out, but like I said before, I want it very tight. Nice big package of smell down there in the silt. And what I've done, because it's not overly crucial where I land, I mean I'm not landing on a spot on the bottom, it's all flat, so I've just picked the most obvious feature on the skyline, so I'll be able to see it after dark. There's a little gap in between two tall trees. And all my bait hopefully will land in that little gap. And then if I get a fish in the night, I can just wrap up the fishing rod to the right distance, cast it between the two tips of those trees, and I'll be smack back on top of the bait. Can even rebait in the dark as well. See the oil coming off those pellets straight away. It's leaving a big flat spot in the wind there. Just something a little bit different to try really. So far I've been on the zigs and pretty much single hook baits, just maybe the odd one fired around. But for tonight I'll try one on a better bait. See what happens. Right, I'm going to leave it at that for now, and I'll probably put the same again out just before dark. I'm expecting sort of night action in the deeper water there. But at least we've got a start, got a bit of smell down there.
Right, nice and windy. Trust you to be sat in there all cosy, Laney. Come on then, tell me about your bivy, mate.
I got the prime spot. It's Scout bivy with overwrap on, so it's proper nice and warm in here. Obviously with the overwrap you're not getting any condensation, and it's keeping it nice and toasty.
You do look nice and snug in there.
Yeah, it is nice, yeah.
Plenty of room as well.
There's loads of room.
Two-man, is it?
It is a two-man. Yeah, well, actually it's a one-man and his dog at the moment. But, but yes, yeah, it is
You'd
a
easily
two-man.
get two bed chairs.
Yeah, you would. Either way, actually, as it goes, you could have them lengthways or widthways. There's plenty of room. With nice vent at the back as well. They come in handy if you use them in the summer when they get a bit warm.
Sure.
And that.
Yeah. But the overwrap's the perfect thing, isn't it, for this extra insulation?
Yes, it is.
Like you say, no condensation with the two layers.
Yeah.
So, on the note of insulation, I noticed there's a nice big gap there between the two materials, isn't there?
Yeah.
Well, you know, just explain how important
that's your thermal layer. You know, that's where your air gets trapped, and that stops your condensation forming on the inside. When you get heat in a bivvy and you've got cold straight up against it, obviously that creates condensation, which is why you get your soaking wet bivvies, especially in autumn and spring. We've got that big range of temperatures, but because you've got that big void in there, that's where you're trapped air. And that sort of stabilises the temperatures between the cold on the outside and the hot on the inside. And that gap's
pretty much maintained all the way around,
all the way around.
There's no touching of the material, because obviously you could have two layers.
Yeah.
If they touch together, it defeats the object, doesn't it?
Completely gone. And you do see that on
some bivvies where they are too close together, and when you get the wind and that, and like you say, as soon as they touch, they stick together,
Yeah.
and you've lost all your
I mean, just crouching here now, it's noticeably warmer that side than it is this side.
Yeah, definitely.
It's amazing just how much difference it
Yeah,
makes.
can't wait to get back in there.
Okay, and on the doors, you've got, this is the actual bivvy door, rather than the wrap door. And this comes round, and it's got another set of zips. So you can open it up around there and have it as what they call a pillbox door. So if you are in foul weather coming straight at you, you can wrap that up, clip that up out of the way, and you get a nice bit of vision out. This top section has also got a mosquito panel. You can unzip that round, so you can have mosquito solid or pillbox, or roll it up from the bottom. So pretty much any combination that you can think of a door, you've got there. Zip that round. And also here on the wrap, the outer door on the over wrap itself. So if you had your inner door rolled up, wanted to use the over wrap door, you've got your solid door, you've got a clear panel door, which you've rolled that up, clip that up out the way, clear panel door, a bit wet at the moment because we've had some weather, and underneath that you've got the option of a mosquito door. So you can have the inside open, sit out there and still get a nice vision. If it's raining, you get the clear door down. If it's not, you just look out the mosquito door. So pretty much any combination of door that you want is there.
So thanks for letting us into your home, Dave.
No problem.
A little bit through the keyhole there. Obviously the bivvy, it's the Scout bivvy and over wrap. They're both available separately, but I believe there's also a combo deal at the moment.
There
where
is.
You can buy them both
yeah,
together.
yeah, you get them both as
That's
a
great.
package
Thank you, mate.
together. No problem.
Right, I've just seen something swirl in these margins, so I'm going to have a go. It's a little bit confined, but I brought with me one of the new Banshee 10-foot range. There's 3 rods in the range, and just that couple of foot shorter than your sort of standard rod. Perfect for sort of sliding under these trees. And still powerful enough for playing a big fish. Handful of pellets and a couple of chops on top of that. That would be lovely. Sometimes you get these little tiny tight swims and 12 foot's just a little bit too much. Right, that fish did return up in that corner. It turned out to be a pike. I sort of thought it was, but while I got the rod in my hand, I'm going to have a little chuck about with it, put it where its paces a little bit, see what it can do. It's not just a stalking rod, it's an actual fishing rod, so let's try a few little tricks with it, see what it's like casting accurate under that bank. Not bad at all. Beautiful and light, really does make a difference, that couple of foot less of carbon. Try and see if we can get a little bit tighter. Oh, look at that, 2 inches off the bank there. Be lovely to play fish on one of these. Really is a lightweight setup. They're capable of a fair cast as well, so let's try whacking it over the back there. I reckon that's got to be the best part of 90, I reckon, to that far bank, maybe a bit more. Oh yeah, flies out there. Didn't want to give it too much and end up a tree, that'd be most embarrassing. Bear in mind that's £15 line, and I think that's a 1 3/4 that lead. Not very heavy. Certainly sails out there. Yeah, lovely. There's quite a big trend towards these shorter rods at the moment, it seems to be. Like I said, there's 3 in this range. This is actually the lighter one. This is the 2 3/4. There's a 3 and there's a 3.5 as well. So obviously with the bigger ones, well, this one casts well, but with the 3.5 you should be able to hit 100 yards easily. And like I said, they're great for poking about in tight swims, but equally capable of fishing out in open water. Also handy if you've only got a little tiny car, because obviously when they're folded up they're that much shorter. Lightweight, lovely to use. Quite fancy myself sitting behind 3 of them.
Oi, you're not sleeping on the job,
No, I
mate.
was product testing my new
Yeah,
chair.
resting your eyes, yeah.
No, I was just seeing
What's that
how
chair
it
all
worked.
about?
It's lovely, isn't it?
Isn't it? Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, reclinable. Nice, I mean, look at that. Snooze.
Tell you what, mate, you're getting old.
No, I'm not, so. And up.
Tell you what I noticed there. See the angle on that leg at the back?
Yeah.
When you're right back there, then I've seen chairs before that recline right back, but
Yeah,
they always look like they're
bend,
going to tip
they're gonna-
over.
Yeah, no, it
Doesn't
is
there?
quite,
That leg's
quite steep.
so far back.
And you've got the big
spot on.
flat feet as well, that self-leveling and adjustable.
Are they the same? Is that the same system as on the bed chair?
Yes, yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's that new quick release.
Brilliant. You
lock.
certainly look comfy enough. Anyway.
And it's in the bonus.
Brilliant.
I've got a table, and obviously
Wow.
that stays flat wherever you are. Cup of tea, phone, sound box, everything
Mate,
you need.
talk about fishing in comfort.
Yeah, and it is comfortable as well. Like, it's all padded at the back there, which sort of, again, we dodgy
Nice
old
high
back.
back there
Yeah,
as well,
it
isn't
is. Yeah, fills out your lumbar nicely, and
Yeah.
like you say, keeps the wind like on a day like this.
Yeah,
off your
spot
neck.
on. Perfect.
It's lovely. Anyway, where was I?
I'll leave you to it. And I'm here to show you how to make up the drop-off inline lead system. Okay, you can use lead core or any number of ready tied leaders to save you splicing any loops. I'm actually using one of these lockdowns from TFG, and quite simply I've just secured it loop to loop to a double ring swivel. Basically it's like a ring swivel, but instead of just having the one ring where you'd expect it, there are 2. You can use just a single ring swivel and loop it onto there and also attach your hook link to the same ring, but I like the freedom of movement that this offers. So that's loop to loop there onto the swivel, so you'll see it's on one ring and there's still one ring nice and loose, ready to use. Okay, at the other end of the leader, I use a needle for this, you're just going to pop on a tail rubber. I've trimmed this tail rubber down, I don't want it to go on too far. You'll see what I mean in a second. That then just runs straight down to where your swivel is. Next comes the lead. Now instead of your leader going through the middle of an inline lead as it would normally, the barrel of the swivel pushes into the insert at the end. Now not too tight, and again you'll see in a minute why. Literally I have it so that it's just secured. Take the leader over the lead. Fortunately these little leads here have got grooves on, but don't worry, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Just use a standard lead and then wet that slightly, push your tail rubber on. Like I say, I don't push it on too far because it goes against the mechanics of what we're going to show you shortly. So that's the actual lead system itself, ready to go. Your leader there, obviously at this end, securely ties to your main line. Make sure that all your knots are safe and nice and tight. And then I like to use an inline lead in a PVA bag. In fact, pretty much only use them in PVA bags. I don't really use them much else except maybe a bit of stalking. So I've got a nice short braided rig here, perfect for a bag. And again, just loop to loop, so through the ring that you haven't attached the leader to, make sure your loop's big enough if you're going to go loop to loop, if you've already got your hook bait on. This is just a hybrid wafter. Okay, so through there, pull it down tight, and that's all ready to go inside a PVA bag. Now, don't worry too much if you think this isn't very secure, not particularly neat, what's happening with that swivel. It's all going inside a PVA bag, remember, so there's no trouble in terms of anything coming undone on the cast or on impact with the water. Quite simply, the reason why we do this is in situations where you might want to eject the lead on the take or while playing a fish. So for example, not fishing near snags, because I don't condone that personally, I don't like snag fishing, but if it's weedy, for example, you get a bite, fish charges through the weed, the last thing you want is a lead getting caught up in the weed and the fish becoming snagged up or tethered. The best thing that can possibly happen is for that lead to fall off, and this system allows it to do exactly that. So pressure on the line, pressure on the hook link, because it's a pull from both sides, and there you go, the lead just drops off. That was the minimum pressure exerted on that lead, and off it dropped. If there are two rigs in carp fishing you could pretty much take anywhere and have a chance of a bite, it's got to be a zig and a chod. This case here is designed to house both of them. It's from TF Gear and it's called the Zig and Chod case. Inside, pretty simple design, but that is where its beauty lies. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 of these discs, which each have 3 grooves in, so potentially 15 rigs across each line. And essentially that's exactly what they're for. So you can see on this one, just for demonstrations purpose, we've nicked a zig into there. It then rolls around the sort of the foam insert and you just pin it in around the other side. Keeps everything neat and tidy and out of harm's way. Similarly with the chod, not only does it store the rigs for you, but with the slightly longer ones, it will maintain the curve that's all important in the chod rig itself. Nice little pocket there for keeping essential bits and bobs in. It's up to you what you keep in there, but you can have like your zig baits, maybe some hooks, bits and bobs that don't take up too much room, maybe a little bit of line. As I say, simplicity in design, nice and firm on the outside, nice big chunky zip, it's not going to let you down. There you go.
Okay, now it's dark. I'm going to show you this little fella I've got here. This is the Night Spark bivy light. It's got 3 different levels of lighting: high, medium and low. It's also got a little attachment at the back there where you can hook him up, hang him from the bivy, body spokes, whatever. But the beauty of this is it's completely rechargeable. You charge it at home before you come, and it's got 100 hours of usage. So you can leave that on for 100 hours solid before it goes flat, which is an incredible amount of light. It's also got a USB in for charging and the USB out for charging your phone. So it comes with a little lead and you can plug your phone, smartphone, whatever, into it. And if you get full charge, you probably get 3 full charges and still some left in the light. But economy wise, I mean, I've used bivy lights in the past, so you use 6 batteries and every night it's a new 6 batteries. With this, you charge it up to once, 100 hours, doesn't cost you anything. Lovely little bit of kit. Also, we've got the Night Spark head torch, which is incredibly light, which is nice. A lot of head torches are proper heavy and sort of give you a bit of a headache after a while. Fully adjustable strap. It takes 2 AAA batteries, but it does last a long time on 2 batteries. And you've got your full beam, a lower beam, and you've also got a red beam. So if you're out and about around the lake and you don't want to spook the fish, red light's the one.
Move the rest of the gear around then, mate?
Yeah, last bit, brought the rods around earlier. I've seen a couple off this island. Well, I see one come right out of the island and one possible. So yeah, I thought I'd bring it all round here. Cool. It's a lot easier on a barrow, isn't it?
It does. It's nice that you can walk around it, to be fair,
those days of carrying it along.
God, yeah.
So yeah, just loaded it all up. Flew round here, now I'm going to get them in.
Good stuff. Let's get on with it.
Nice one.
Right, Dave, move swims.
Yep.
Got all the big bits off your barrow. I just want to have a little look at this one, just in a little bit more detail.
Yep.
What we got?
It's the trucker barrow.
Yep.
And everything you see here is what you get in the deal.
Right.
So it's not just the barrow, it's all the storage underneath, bags and front barrow bag.
Cool.
All come as a complete kit, if you like.
So the barrow itself?
Barrow itself, sturdy. It's got adjustable handles at the back. These come up sort of for any height.
Oh, okay. Tall guys, short guys.
That's it.
Yep.
Yep. Any height of angler, and also terrain. If you've got long grass or mud or ruts or whatever, if you push them down shorter, you're getting those feet higher off the ground.
Got you.
It's fully adjustable on the sides, so
as you can get one of those nice big wide bed
yeah, I
stairs
mean,
on
they're
it.
getting bigger and bigger and bigger, aren't they? So
yeah.
I think that's quite important. Just a couple of screws there. That's easy.
Cool.
Got massive amount of storage in there for whatever, really.
Yeah,
you know,
all sorts can go in
depends
there,
how you use your gear. You know, I'd keep water and bait and stuff like that in there, and this is also removable.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
the bag. So do they all do that?
Yeah.
All three of those
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
lift out.
Yeah. So what you can do with these bags is use them for your, you know, I mean here I've got my like tackle stuff
Right.
and all of that, but rather than having to leave stuff on the barrow, you literally just lift them straight out. And out they come.
Oh, straight into your
and they're
bivy
rigid,
that's it.
so they sort of hold their own shape.
So they've got like a frame. In the
They've got
top,
a frame
haven't
and
they?
they've got a
Sits on
little
that
lip there, so it's
yeah.
always, you know, it can never fall through. Once it goes in, it just locates in
Yeah.
and sits in there,
Brilliant.
and that's as far as it can go.
And obviously this one's just a
This, yeah, I think these are, I mean, I'm using it at the moment for all my bang
Right,
sticks and buzzers
yeah.
and bits and pieces, but it's handy.
pretty much put anything in there,
Anything,
couldn't
you know, stuff that maybe you don't want to take it. I'd use it for a barbecue, fold up barbecue, whatever really. You know,
Yeah.
like I say, it depends. It's personal preference how you use your gear. But I do like, you know, this is a good idea that these just come out. You can pack them up ready, food, whatever. You know,
Brilliant.
tackle, and
Yeah,
just put
yeah.
them straight in. It's like that, job done, and they're
Great
all
stuff.
dry and
I like
safely
that.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Good bit of kit.
yeah, it is.
Okay, one little bugbear with me
Yeah.
with barrows is taking them apart at the end.
Yeah.
I've had some good ones and some pretty terrible ones.
Yeah,
What
yeah, I
about
know what
this?
you mean. Some of them are sort of overcomplicate the issue,
Yeah.
don't they? But I mean, these come out, that fold flat down to nothing, just slides under your bed out the way. This comes off so easily. Just a couple of bits of Velcro, and you're away.
Oh, okay, I hadn't noticed that there.
Yeah.
Obviously that supports that front bag, doesn't
Yep,
it?
yep, so you've got support there. Just folds down, folds away. These straight out. Roll them over on each side. This wheel is just 2 screws there. Undo them first, they make it a lot easier. And out it comes. 1 pin. Even you
That's
can
going
do
to
that,
fit.
Mark.
Thanks, mate.
That ain't hard in anyone's book, is it?
No, it's going to fit in most cars as well, isn't it?
Oh,
It's not
no
too
problem.
bulky, is it?
Even in a small car, it fits in that sort of
Yeah.
flat
Just
space
go
in
in
the back.
sideways, yeah. Cool,
Yeah,
it's good.
It's not too heavy either, so couldn't really be simpler. Right, I'm now in my 4th, I think, choice to swim. Fishing has been poor, to say the least. I did try on that huge wind up the other end. I thought they may have moved on it, but being the end of March, I wasn't convinced. So I had a walk round a little while ago, and I've seen, it was my first fish in 2 days, lumped out by a little island up here, sort of on the back of the wind a little bit. It's pushing down here through a little channel. I'm wondering if there's a few fish hiding up this channel, so I'm going to have a look, have an explore. Actually feels quite deep along there. Just going to put hook baits and a couple of pouches around them, fish lightly and see what's there. More exploratory than anything. Running low on time and I need some fish. 1 fish is not enough. Got 1 more night ahead of me, so it's sort of a bit of a last chance saloon. Well, that didn't take long. Shows what 2 minutes in the right spot can do. Literally just got them rods out there. and I was away. Exact spot I saw that fish jump as well. It's one of them now where I wish I'd been in here 2 days ago. At least we're here now. I got one on the end. He's a better one. Nice linear by the look of it. I've never been so relieved to see a carp in the bottom of my net. Hello, mate. Right, where's me mat? Yeah, I've caught one! Right, what I'm going to do, because like I say, I am literally just moved in the swim. I'm still halfway through sorting everything out. I don't know where my scales or anything are, so I'm going to pop him in this, which is the new Monster retainer sling, just for a couple of minutes until I sort myself out. Probably put the rig back out there actually, in case there's a few about. Oh, he's lively. Look at him, he's lovely. Come on, calmly come. It won't be long. He's a pretty one, isn't he? Have a quick look at him. No, let's give him a little rest until we're ready. What I like about this over some of the other slings I've seen, floating slings, there's a lot of them just zip up one end, and I always think if they're a little bit athletic they might porpoise out the top, but this one zips right up, so it ain't going nowhere. I've already tied it off to a big sturdy bit of scaffold pole, but there is a thread on the end if you want to put it on a bank stick, but scaffold pole's going to be better. And there he is, we'll just pop him in there for a few minutes. Make sure that it's nice and full. Soon flood in. There we go. Leave him there for a couple of minutes. That's the other thing about these mats that I was saying earlier, where you've got returns like this, or you know, you can drop down one end and you've got that nice little safe slide rather than that, just in case they do flap at that unopportune moment. There we go. Right, let's find the scales. Right, here we go. Let's hoik him out. Just show you one little feature of this sling before I get him out. These straps across here are actually stiff, and what they do is they hold the top of it apart to stop it collapsing in on itself, so it's a rigid frame. Make sure the fish has got plenty of room to move about in there. And it's got those great big paddles that are now draining out, that let all the oxygen flow through. You just, let's just pop them off actually. And that goes together. Let it drain out. In he goes. There we have him. Tip all that water in there. Right, I was going to weigh him, but I think I've left my sling around the other side of the truck, so I'm going to guesstimate him sort of somewhere between 16 and 18 pound. Let's get his pretty side, his good side. They're both good, but this one's gooder. Right, there he is. Oh, well, it's starting to rain. Well, I don't care because I've caught a carp. Hopefully a few more come. Now we move around to where they live. Like I say, that was right on where that fish showed. And I'll flick one back out there, so hopefully we'll have a couple more. And now we just slide him back. There he goes.
I've had a sneak preview of these new reels in the office,
right?
But at the time of filming, they're so new. I think they were like the only set in the country.
Yeah.
Apart from yours.
Yeah, I'm going to say there was 2 sets. Yeah. So I had 1 set on the bank.
Obviously, it's designed for casting. It's the DL Black Edition.
Yeah.
And we've talked before about spodding and how important it is to have the right gear. Now, you don't have to go out and spend £500 on a reel to improve your casting. There are some key features that you look for in a reel.
Absolutely, yeah.
So just talk me through what makes this so special.
Line lay is obviously your main thing you're looking for in a reel. If you haven't got good line lay, you're going to get tangles, and it's not going to cast very well. And if you want to cast distance, you've got to have decent line lay. And also, the tournament style spool on these helps no end.
So it's forward tapered, isn't it?
It's forward tapered. And if you look at the reel, you look at the dimensions of the spool compared to the reel, you know, it's all about the spool.
Yep.
So that's going to help.
So obviously that allows coils of line to come off more freely, doesn't it?
It does.
Because any resistance, any sort of drag, that's going to restrict distance, isn't it?
So yeah. Any drag's going to pull back on distance. And also the way the line comes off the spool, it relates to the way the line's been put on the spool.
Okay.
So this has got what they call a slow oscillation, so it goes up and down. The bow line's going around fast, but the spool's going up and down slowly, and that will give you a nice sort of cross wrap.
So it lays it down in
perfect coils, as you can see. I mean, that is a very, very good line.
That is, yeah.
But once you've got it out there, obviously, then it's all about getting it back. If you're fishing at range, you know, and you're casting and trying to hit a spot, you want to be able to get it back quickly, which it's got a good retrieve on it, fast retrieve on it. It's got very good gears, which is very important. You know, you've got to have that power, but you've got to have the reliability. If you're doing it over and over again, that you're not getting juddering and, you know, the gears aren't slipping. And
what about the drag? I know it's just front drag, isn't it?
It's front drag.
It's a quick drag spool.
It is a very quick drag. So that's giving you your free spool system, you know, and then you're in fighting mode.
It's like
half a
turn.
It's hardly anything. The handle, again, you want a comfortable handle. Just spin that over. So we've got a wooden handle on there. It's a nice big grip. Done nicely, I think, in the dark, almost
nice,
black wood.
It
all goes in. Because at the end of the day, you know, you're sitting looking at it all. You want it to look nice as well, don't you?
Of course you do. And you know, carp fishing for me is becoming as much a fashion as it is a pastime. So it's got to look right these days.
A lot of the time you take more pictures of your setup than you do of the fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might as well have a nice setup. But no, I think it looks very nice, all in the black with the black wooden handle.
Yeah, really nice bit of kit that. But more importantly, it's actually going to genuinely improve an average guy's casting, isn't it? Without him having to spend a fortune,
100%.
You can actually do better from that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you're due to recast that one, aren't you? So let's have a look.
Okay.
Right, mate, so recast.
Yep.
Try and keep this one out of the trees, eh? Only kidding.
Yeah, no, I've seen a fish show right over on that back bank over there.
Right.
So I'm going to whack one over there.
Cool. Tell you what I noticed before you do, sorry. It's noticeable there, like you said to me before, it's all about the spool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a great big body thing to make it really heavy and cumbersome.
I was just about to say, the beauty of it is it doesn't weigh anything. It is a really, really
and that's going to make
setup.
a difference as well, isn't it?
Of course it is, it makes it easier to use, more sort of user-friendly, and easier to cast. You've got a clonking great big beach caster thing on the end there, you know, but it's not. It's a carp reel for distance carp fishing.
Come on then, let's see it in action.
Perfect.
Even in that crosswind, you've
Yeah,
got that there, no problem, haven't you?
No, that's spot on.
Good stuff. I'll leave you to it.
Yep, let's get that back in the rests. Just gonna have a quick look at adjustable zig rig fishing. I had that fish earlier, that 20 on a zig, that was on a fixed zig. But if you've got a range of depth, you know, if you're in a deep water and you're looking for where the fish are, maybe you want to search about, sometimes it's easier to use an adjustable. When you put it out there, you can just go up and down a foot as and when you like. Very easy to make. You're on a lead, on a run ring. I mean, you can use it straight with the swivel on the lead, but it just makes sure it goes up and down a little bit easier. Small float, any sort of subsurface float or pike float will do. It's got to be inline. And your hook link. So what you do, first on the run ring, with lead attached, then I put on a little tiny float stop. This just stops the float flying back on the cast. Keeps it all nice and tight. Your line goes through your inline controller. Tie it off on a little size 10 or 11 swivel. A little bit of rig sleeving just to keep it away, stop it tangling. On the cast it's less likely to whip round like that. And a hook link. Anything sort of over a foot, 14 inches, I suppose. The longer you go, the more prone it is to tangling. So the shorter you can get away with, I'm happy with that, about the length of my arm. And you want mono on that, don't use fluorocarbon because fluoro is quite heavy and it sinks. But, nice fine mono and a small light hook. I've got a size 8 there. Hook bait's always a choice with zigging. I love a little bit of foam, black foam especially seems to work really well, black or yellow or a mix of the two. Or even a little tiny boilie, 10mm, but generally I'll go for the foam. So that's your setup. Bit like, to be honest, it's very similar to a plumbing float setup with a hook link on the top. And I'll show you exactly how that works. Right, with casting the adjustables, what you want to do is you want to cast it, you don't want to cast them what I call a power cast. You don't want it low and fast. You want to lob it and you want to trap them before they hit the surface. And that keeps the hook link, stops the hook link going back up the main line and twisting around. But it is very important to always trap them just before they hit the surface. Nice and high, and then trap, splash. Lower it down on a tight line till it's the bottom. And then what you need to do is just pay it out like you would a plumbing float. Slowly though, don't do it too quickly, you don't want the float overtaking the bait. It might tangle on the way up. You just slowly let it out till it reaches the surface. Even in really deep water, if I'm going to be fishing low down, I always start from the top and count my way back down, because you get a chance when it's on the surface to check that there's no tangles. You should be able to see the float and see the hook bait separate from it. Now, with the little bits of foam, obviously you're going to need binoculars or something to actually see that, but with a pop-up it's usually quite obvious. Even in the sun I can see those two there, I can see it glinting off. Let's turn this off. So, then you watch the controller and you tighten down until the controller goes under. It's just below the surface. You're using a hook link this long, so you take that much down and that's your hook bait just under. So my hook bait is now millimetres below the surface. So you decide roughly where you want to fish in your mind, and if you're searching, say you start 2 foot under, so if that's a foot, it doesn't matter as long as you use the same measurement each time. It doesn't matter whether it's really a foot or not, but the idea is to remember exactly what you've done. So if you're coming down to that mark there, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm now 4 foot below the surface. So if I left it like that and maybe fished that for an hour, and after an hour, try 6 foot below, try 8 foot below. The problem is if you're using more than one rod, it becomes really hard to remember exactly where you are. And if you do get a bite, you want to replicate that as quickly as possible. So what I've got is a little, I believe they call them Dorman counters. They're also called golf counters. It's very, I mean, they're about £2. Little plastic counter. You press it once, you get a 1. Twice, you get a 2. 3, 4. And I simply hang that on my snag here, and I know I'm 4 foot below the surface. So if I'm using 3 rod zig fishing, I may have 1, 4, 16, 20, whatever depth. And if I get a bite, get the fish in, I've only got to look at the counter, see what depth it was at, and then replicate that straight away. So now if I was to bring it down, another 5, 6, just add 2, know where I am. And there you go, adjustable zig rig fishing, made easy.
Right, mate, subject close to my heart, bed chairs.
Yeah.
I do like a good night's sleep. Looks a bit bulky, that one. What have we got?
Yeah, pick it up first, weighs nothing.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah,
Wow, that is light.
it's really light. I mean, some of the big bed chairs weigh a ton,
don't they?
But no, that's its first bonus, as it weighs next to nothing. And as you know, someone with a back like mine, I don't want to be carting about anything too heavy, and I want to be sleeping on something nice and comfortable, which it is.
So this is the flat out,
This
yeah?
is the flat out. It comes in 2 sizes, the Super King and the standard. This is the Super King one.
Right, hence the width.
Hence the width. But yeah, they've both got the same amount of padding and everything else. Without the hand wheel, I mean, it's just all so easy. Got that double hinge
Yeah, I know,
mechanism.
it's a double hinge there, isn't it?
Yeah, and it just literally just pop it up. And it's as simple as that.
That gives a nice flat profile to it
Yeah,
as well,
it
and
does.
there's no
Yeah.
hand wheel getting in the way there.
There's
either,
nothing,
is
no,
there?
and when you're sitting on the bed sideways like that, you're not getting it dig in.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it is completely flat under there.
It's a
Obviously,
thick old mattress and it's built for comfort.
it's lovely, yeah, it is, and it's temperature controlled as well. It's breathable, so you know, not only is it warm in the winter,
Right.
you're not sweating up in the summer.
Paddy seems to like it.
He loves the bed. As soon as he sees the bed come up, he's on it.
That pillow's a good old size as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it's removable as well.
Right.
So you know, if you didn't want to get
Yeah.
on there, I don't know why you wouldn't want it on there, but if you didn't, it's just literally, it's just a zip. And it's
Yes, I've seen built-in pillows before. I'm actually really funny. I like to sleep with my arm under the
Yeah,
pillow, even
yeah.
when I'm at home.
Yeah, well, that
So
is on
that's perfect.
that is on a lifter like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, easy on and off.
Plenty of space on there. Obviously, what's
Yeah.
the rating again? 25 stone. or
25
something,
stone
isn't it?
on both of them,
Right.
regardless of the width.
So even the big boys, then they're not going
yeah.
to struggle on one of these.
No, not at all.
I can't get over how significant it is.
Yeah.
Yet it's really not that heavy compared
It's not
to a
at
lot
all.
of the bigger ones.
No, it's not at all. That is the downfall with a lot of them. They weigh a ton. On the feet as well, we've got a new locking mechanism. It's a lot easier, just up for unlock
Oh, okay.
and down for lock.
Oh, right, brilliant.
There's no
And
squeezing
obviously
little pins or anything.
They're all
yeah, all the same.
adjustable, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah,
So-
yeah. Yeah,
Brilliant.
very easy to adjust. Just so comfortable, and you know.
I know you suffer with your back.
I
don't you?
have got quite, I've got
Yeah.
a bad back, and it's horrible. You wake up after a night's fishing and you just don't feel like you, you know, but you get a
Yeah.
decent night's sleep. Hopefully, you get interrupted a couple of times by
Well,
fish,
yeah,
but you
that'd
know,
be
it's
nice,
not all
yeah.
about
But
sleeping.
if not,
but
no, you're right.
when
If-
you are laid out, you've got, you know, it's silly not to be comfortable.
Of course,
You think of what we used
absolutely.
to sleep on, you know,
Yeah.
and you felt like
Yeah.
terrible.
There's
in
a
the
world
morning.
away from that now,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, there
Brilliant.
is. It's
Do you know what
proper
that
bed.
is? That's splendid. I like that.
Excellent. Oh. Well, that rod I just rigged up with a zig and chucked out there, even though it's not really zig weather. Let's have a little drop back and I'm in. I'd seen a fish further out in the open water, and I knew it's sort of 12 or 13 foot deep out there, so I figured a zig might be the one. It feels like a lot bigger fish actually at the moment, but let's hope it is. Come on, fish. Right, that's him in. Oh, they're getting bigger. He's a much better one. Right, let's get the mat. That's it. Right, we've already zeroed these in, so. Oh, he's 20 pounder. Just under 21. Nice. First 20 pounder of the trip. He's proper scaly old warrior, isn't he? Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Fish. Right, let's pop him back. Calm down. Away he goes. Excellent.
Right, Dave. As well as being useful in certain situations, snag ears are very much in vogue at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Talk me through these, because these are really different to anything I've seen so far.
Yeah, they are. Like you say, they've got the basic function of being a snag ear if you're fishing sideways, or if you're fishing in conditions like this, you know, when you get a big gulf gust and your rod lifts up, they can obviously keep it in position. But these are illuminated as well. They've got a universal fitting on the bottom, normal jack plug. So when they're on the plate and plugged in, it mimics whatever's happening with the alarm.
I see, yeah.
So if you've got a flashing or solid light, that's exactly what's going on the top. Now obviously that's very, very visual at night, but I find them best, to be honest, in the day.
Right.
Because quite often, depending on which side of your rods you're sat, you know, if you're sat on the side where that's behind your vision, and in the day it's not quite so bright, obviously, you can look out, you get a couple of beats.
That's 360 there, isn't it?
Yeah, from any no matter where you are, you're seeing that straight away, and you know, especially if you are snag fishing and using them for snags, you want to be on the right rod straight away.
I noticed as well, on the actual bracket itself, so the plate that sits underneath, there's room there if you've got quite a deep alarm, that can be shifted forward and backwards.
It doesn't matter what type of alarm you've got, you can fit it tight up against the back.
Brilliant, I like those. I've never seen anything like that, genuinely.
No?
So, yeah, brilliant.
There you go, it's a first for you.
Right, Laney.
Yes.
Carp care.
Yep.
It's been said a million times, but it is the most important thing about what we do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know it doesn't look like it at this point, but you've actually got an unhooking mat in there.
I have, yeah.
It's very different to most of the mats out there, so let's have a look.
Hardcore pack-away mat. You wouldn't think it
because it packs away.
Because it packs away, small, easy, quick, but it is, when it's up, a full spec mat. How easy is that?
Okay. Right.
Which is your base, obviously drainable, and then you've got proper thickness, padded.
Nice material that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Fish friendly, I think.
Fish friendly, yep, nice and slippery, which is what you want. And there you have it, and you even get, for a windy day like today.
Yeah, I notice. A couple of pegging points, one at each
pegging points.
Yeah,
on the
well,
little
I'd
bag
say
on the
ideal today because it's been a bit blowy, hasn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
The thing I like about that as well is So I'm not always a fan of pegging mats out because of obviously the peg is a protrusion, but that's nowhere near, the fish can't go anywhere near
it's
it.
It's a fair old flat. There's no way they're going to get, you know, hurt themselves on there.
And nice high wall.
Yeah.
Keep them in there at all times. Obviously, I'm not suggesting you ever leave them, but it's just
no,
that safety
it's
factor,
not with that in mind. But you know,
it's like a little cot almost, isn't it? Like a
once they're
cot.
in there, they're not coming out, flapping down the bank. They're in there. They're in there.
Brilliant.
And
just the right size for your kind of commercial type angler as well.
Yeah, it's perfect for commercial fisheries. You know, short stay angling, and at the end when it's all wet and slimy and horrible.
Back in the bag.
Got a nice bag, nice decent material, white clean inner. Put it in there and away in the car without stinking everything out.
Impressed with that.
Yeah,
great stuff.
Very nice.
So it packs away just as easy as it goes out, obviously. So that folds back over.
In you go. And that's going to
presume this. You just hold it each end and twist it.
Yeah.
It closes up.
Just give it that.
Yeah. Doesn't get any easier than that,
really,
does it?
Does it?
No. Joking aside, it can be one of the bulkiest and most awkward bits of kit to get back in the car, can't it? I mean, we always condone giving the fish as much protection as possible,
definitely.
but I mean that packs away literally to nothing.
Yeah,
so.
it isn't anything, is it? Even if it's on a barrow, it's taking that upright at the front, no space at all, does it?
No, spot on that is, mate.
Easy. There you go. Well, it's all kicking off now. 2 days with next to nothing. This is the 4th bite in an afternoon. That's the difference between fishing on the fish and nowhere near them. Just trying to steer him up between them 2 other lines. He's not the biggest carp in the world, but he's welcome. He's a common. We got him. Right, there he is. It's all happening now, isn't it? Livening right up. The carp, they awake for spring. Love it when a plan comes together. Was about the 5th plan, but this one worked. Excellent. Slide him straight back and get that rig out there before it gets dark. Whoa! Oh, now I'm soaked. And so's the lens of that camera by the look of it. Well, that's almost it. I'm going to give it about 10 minutes and then wind in and pack up. God, it's been a hell of a session, really. I mean, it is only the end of March and we've had some massive winds, practically gale force. We've had 2 trees come down, one at the top end of the lake. Another one came down nearly on top of the cameraman's bivy one night. That was a bit of excitement for him. It's been a proper tackle tester as well, really has. The bivvies have stood up well, although we were putting one up in the middle of a huge gust of wind and it ended up about 15 foot up the top of a tree behind us. So that was fun. But it's been a bit of a grueler, if I'm honest. But pulled it out of the bag in the end, managed 4 fish on the bank, which I'm happy with, seeing as the conditions. It's cold this morning, that wind is bitter. But all in all, it's been a good little trip and don't think I could have hoped for a lot more given the conditions. No, it's been interesting.